this is one of those things you don't know for certain. This could all be crap in the end, and it could turn out that PK did do it. But as I said to you before the show, no offense to PK, but he doesn't seem clever or courageous enough to have thought this up and actually pull it off.
Yeah.
I mean,
How?
again, as I said, I couldn't. I couldn't go into something and be like, okay, doing 80 mile an hour, there's the point of the wall that I've got to hit, bam, and then drive a car into it. I couldn't purposefully drive a car at 80 mile an hour into a wall, no matter how safe.
Certainly takes a lot of balls.
Or a lot of money behind you.
Yes, like you were saying pre-show, it would be interesting to have a look at PK's bank balance during the time and see for any large influxes of money.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be incentivized in some way.
Yeah.
But then again, that makes the offer of, if there isn't a large sum of money into his bank, that he was incentivized to do it purely by the fact that he would be able to blackmail them into being able to drive for the next year.
Yeah, but at that point, he didn't know whether he was going to get a contract or not, so...
All the more reason, I guess.
Well, yeah, when you looked at it like that. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know that I'd risk it, because at the end of the day, they might turn around and say, you've got a contract, and you might not have had to have done that, and then it would have been all for nothing.
Yeah, but to be honest,
On
to
the flip-
gamble your career on a might get a contract is something very big, and it's a big risk. So having that nice contingency plan of being able of
you've
crashing
got
into the wall.
over them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
how do you think this is affecting people like Alonso and Roman Grosjean at this time?
At the moment, I don't think Alonso could give a toss.
No, he doesn't seem like the person who generally would give a toss.
At the end of the day, as long as he's driving, he's still getting paid and he's still competitive. I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
Grosjean, I have no idea. He only looks about 12. He probably doesn't know how to care.
That's a
I'm
big...
sorry, I don't like the guy. There's just something about him that I don't like.
Well, it's good to know that there's just something.
He's about 12.
How old is he anyway?
I don't know. I'll go and have a look. If it turns out he's 12, though, I want to quit.
I will give you a quid.
Anyway, there has been other news this week. More than
Believe it or not, yes, there are other things other than this big conspiracy theory of F1 teams.
And I think for all of the McLaren fans out there, one of the biggest pieces of news is the fact that McLaren will no longer be sponsored by Santander at the end of this season. And
Yes, in fact,
Road
McLaren
is
are in quite big
three-
trouble.
Say that again?
McLaren are in quite big trouble recently because because Mercedes, who kind of paid 40% of who own 40% of McLaren, are investing in Brawn.
Yeah, which I reckoned, and I don't know this for certain, but I reckon will probably be for a similar size stake. Because,
Yeah, they said it was about 30 to 40% they were looking at investing in.
yeah, because anything smaller and they won't have, probably in their eyes, enough of a say as to what goes on, whereas at 40%, they've got a big enough say to be able to get the team to do things that they want. But yeah, if Mercedes leave McLaren and go to Brawn instead, then they lose in their engine supplier and one of their biggest sponsors. I mean, okay, yeah, I know they've still got Vodafone, and Vodafone are there, or at least are one of their title sponsors. But
I doubt. Well, I don't know whether if Mercedes decide to back Brawn, I don't think they'll drop the
McLaren
team because they already supply engines to Force India, and they supply engine technology to Brawn as well. Just now, Red Bull is currently trying to get engines off them.
They do, at the moment, they do McLaren Force India and Brawn. But if I remember right, and I don't know if it's on the forum or not, but there's possible that Williams are looking for a Mercedes deal.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I mean, the way it's going, if everyone gets it, the whole grid might as well just have Mercedes power.
And Ferrari's going to be the only one left over.
Yeah, and Renault if they're still there. But you'll have the whole grid under Mercedes power, apart from the 3 new teams, of course, who is going to be powered by Ford Cosworths, which Cosworth did before. Well, it's not Ford Cosworth, is it? No, it's just Cosworth. Cosworth used to supply engines, and then they decided that they weren't gonna, so they left. But I mean, McLaren's been Mercedes powered for a good deal of years.
15 years.
It's not 15, it can't be.
Well, they've been partners for 14. They've had engines from them for 10 years.
Yeah. Because I know that they used to be Honda powered back in the good old days.
Yes, when black and white TVs were around.
Wasn't that old? Anyway, more Ferrari related news. Since they've now got Santander for a 5-year deal. They've also turned around, and this is on the forum, that Fisichella said that in 2010 he would like to still have a race seat and test for Ferrari. And as I posted on the forum, I don't see this going to happen, because why would you have a test driver that raced for another team, could potentially be doing better than you for this other team? And Ferrari have turned around and said, we'd like to see him in a race seat next year. Why? Why? Why do you want him in a race seat? What happens if he starts beating you?
Well, surely he'd be racing for Ferrari.
No. Because if every driver that Ferrari have on their books races for them, Ferrari's going to be running 7 cars next year. Because they've got Raikkonen, Massa, Fisichella, then they've got
Badoa doesn't count.
engineer test drivers, and what is got to be an imminent announcement that they have signed Fernando Alonso, because it's going to happen. I don't care what Ferrari said, which was this weekend. They've said that no, our drivers for next year is Raikkonen and Massa. I don't see it. One of them's gone, and Alonso will be there next season. I guarantee it.
See, I don't know. I think Alonso's got a good place in Renault.
I don't think so. I really don't.
Well, why would you think that's a jeopardy then?
Well, the car's not fast. Well, no, that's not true. The car's fast, but I don't know that it's fast enough for Alonso. Because he wants to be world champion again. And let's face it, he drives like a world champion most of the time. So, and he did say, he has mentioned before that the car's not fast enough for him to do that. So, I don't see why he would.
Do you think Ferrari would take him?
And no, Raikkonen's only under contract for another year. He's already indicated that he wants to go and rally around the world. And up until recently, he hasn't exactly seemed interested in Formula 1, really. I mean, up until, about the last 3 races? If he hadn't have even been on the grid, it wouldn't have made much difference. So,
Well, he's not been doing that bad.
well, no, but he's not been doing that spectacularly either.
Well,
I mean-
neither's Alonso.
Yeah, but when you think about it, right? Ferrari has been there since the start of time. They've always done well. I mean, even when they have their off times, they don't last long. whereas Renault haven't really done anything since Alonso won the World Championship with them. In fact, they haven't. They've got the odd win here or there. And they don't look as though that's going to turn around anytime soon, even with him there. So, why stay? To me, Ferrari's the better, as much as this pains me to say, and it does. Ferrari's the better place to be.